Okay, so basically the idea is to protect a game server. So first of all, for the game servers, there are two different type of them. One we call is a lobby server. So basically you log into the game server, it select which server to play on. And second one, we call it actually, it's just a game server. So basically this is a game server where you run, for example, the instances where you host all the players having a sort of a real time, for example, FPS game. For example, a team of five against another team of five. So basically, in terms of the characteristics, so basically these are two different types, right? So for the lobby, that you can just simply protect it using a very generic protection mechanism like any like cloud-based protection solution would be fine. And usually will be pretty resilient against those like DDoS attack, right? Of course, you don't need sort of the, for example, the time sensitive kind of activity, right? Because you can wait to get accepted into a team or other clan before joining a game. So this is the characteristic of a lobby server, right? So what you need is all those, for example, the typical, for example, client-side security, server-side security, a bit of a DDoS protection, a bit of, for example, the bot protection, right? And of course, the server is basically complying to those PCI DSS if you're going to accept the credit card information. And at the back end in the operation, they have to comply to, for example, ISO, right, 27,000. So this is about the basically the lobby server. The other one is a real game server. Right? So for example, the FPS game, right? First person shooting game. So this is really time sensitive. So any or the volumetric DDoS attack will affect the game experience significantly because it causes latencies. Right? So basically, in terms of DDoS, protection is really necessary, and it's gonna be really high quality for those like AAA games, basically high quality games like the Valorant from Riot Gaming, or like for example CS or Counter Strike, right? So basically, in terms of the DDoS solution or anti-DDoS solution that we select, it could be really careful. They could be from the top tier anti-DDoS solution providers like Cloudflare or like Akamai, but the solution are going to be the top of the top, which means that the solution probably will require some client side collaboration. For example, embed SDK into the client so that you can identify which client actually is legitimate, right? So that you can just filter out those like unsolicited or unwanted client that is actually probably using a cracked version of the game, try to basically generate a huge amount of traffic to affect your game, right? So basically, this is the problem we're going to solve. And yeah, as I mentioned earlier, high level of it is basically from this five perspective. Of course, the monitoring gaps, right? So you need sort of a real-time monitoring of the game server performance in terms of the performance, in terms of the security aspects as well, right? So you see that whether there's any like real-time leakage, whether there's a high throughput happening to the server. It could be a legitimate one, it could be a benign, it could be a malicious one. So you need a real-time monitoring, real-time visibilities into it. Um, and the proposed solution, of course, is pretty standard, right? So we're going to follow all those like papers, technical research over the internet. So we need a server-side security, right? For example, the WAF web application firewall. So basically, there's mainly to protect against the threats from the OWASP stop them, like cross-site scripting, like injection attacks. And also the cloud workload protection solution, basically that is the, for example, the agent they're going to be installed onto, for example, the server, like Windows, like antivirus, similar to that, right? And also the cloud firewall. So basically, this is the research I've done so far. The rest is just a very high level one, the client-side protection SDK, and end-to-end, the data being sent back and forth has to be encrypted, right? And also some of the API based solutions as well. So this will be discussed in the, for example, following weeks. So basically, this is what I have done so far in terms of the research. Basically, the technology going to use is not going to be like 5 years old or 7 years old. It's going to be the sort of up to date will be the state of art, right? So all those like conventional ways of protecting the threats is not going to be useful. Of course, I mean that we have to keep ourselves up to date, right? So basically, these are the plans. So basically, I've done the first. It's already the DDoS attack patterns and the draft architecture design. So basically, high level architecture of the security protection. And right, so basically, this is sort of um, like assumption, right? So we're going to like have these expected outcomes as scalable protections, enhanced client side security, the data compliance, and also the operational insight. So this is the expected outcomes are going to be fine tuned over the time. And last but not least is just the references, right? So the feedbacks I wanted is basically to see that what specific topic that actually is missing now, right? Uh, so basically from a user's perspective, from the operator's perspective, right, from the characteristics of different type of the gaming server or different kind of a game genre. So yeah, I want to hear some feedbacks about that. So that's basically a very brief summary of what I've done and what I'm going to do in the next few weeks, and also some of the feedbacks I want. Thank you.